Good morning. I am Niharika Katta, PGB first year student from IIM Trichy. Today I am going to talk about one among the many challenges currently faced by Indian economy, that is Low Human Development Index or HDI. So, what is Human Development Index? It is a measure of well-being within a country. This is mainly a social measurement because it takes into consideration education, which is adult literacy rate and years of schooling, then healthcare, which is judged by life expectancy, and finally, economic factor of GDP. In 2015, India has been placed at 130th position among 188 countries with 0.609 score in the medium human development category, which was at 135 in 2014 report. Empowering the population through universal education and healthcare, India needs to improve its HDI rank as at 130. It is way below many other developing countries' performance. Coming to importance of education in economic growth. On a general note, education is indispensable to economic development. A balanced education system promotes not only economic development but productivity and generates individual income per capita. Its influence is noticeable at the micro level of an individual family. Education has its effect on labor productivity, poverty, trade, technology, health, income distribution, and family structure. Education provides a foundation for development, the groundwork on which much of our economic and social well being is built. It is a key to increasing economic efficiency and social consistency. By increasing the value and efficiency of their labor, it helps to raise the poor from the poverty. It increases the overall productivity and intellectual flexibility of the labor force. It helps to ensure that a country is competitive in world markets now characterized by changing technologies and production methods. By increasing a child's integration with dissimilar social or ethnic groups early in life, education contributes significantly to national building and interpersonal tolerance. Let us see where India stands. In recent decades, India has made significant progress on access to schooling and enrollment rates in primary education, but dropout rates and low level of learning remains challenges for the state and the central government. As the US has a longer history of public education than India, there are opportunities for India to learn from the success and failures in the American education system and to collaborate in tackling shared challenges such as the best use of technology in primary education. Primary school enrollment in India has been a success story largely due to various programs and drives to increase enrollment even in remote areas, with enrollment reaching at least 96% since 2009 and girls making up 56% of new students between 2007 and 2013. It is clear that many problems of access to schooling have been addressed. Improvements to infrastructure have been a priority to achieve this, and India now has 1.4 million schools and 7.7 million teachers, so that 98% of the habitations have a primary school within 1 kilometer, and 92% have an upper primary school, which is class 6 to 8th, within a 3 kilometer walking distance. The lack of learning in India's schools calls for changes to teacher education. Technology has a lot of potential to improve education, but how it can be implemented most effectively and, in the case of India, most cost efficiently still remains a question. There are several initiatives in India by NGOs like the Azim Premji Foundation and Digital Study Hall, and corporations like ILFS, Educom, Intel, Media Labs, to mention just a few, in content creation, teacher training, and classroom learning. Coming to skill development, making education more practically relevant to the labor market is priority for Prime Minister Modi ji. To summarize, currently spendings on education is low in India and stands at 3.4% of the GDP, whereas in developed countries like UK and US it stands at 5.6%. Now, let us see the effect of healthcare on economic development. It is no secret that health is instrumental to an individual's education, income, and overall development. Studies show this is true for countries as well. Health can be a causative factor for the aggregate economic growth of a country. The World Health Organization has estimated that 10-year increase in average life expectancy at birth is associated with a rise in economic growth of some 0.3 to 0.4% a year. This evidence is available at the micro disease level as well. For example, a 10% decrease in malaria is associated with an increased annual economic growth of 0.3%. According to a research, reduction in mortality accelerates growth of income per capita and population size and suggests that public health policy plays a potentially important role for economic development. As a nation, we too have made good progress and India is healthier today than even before. We have eradicated smallpox and polio, made progress with regards to HIV infection and AIDS related deaths, and seen increased access and affordability. However, a lot still remains to be done, especially when compared against the Millennium Development Goals. India has the highest population growth rate in the world. The WHO, in its ranking of healthcare systems of the world, placed India at a dismal 112th position out of 190 countries it studied. This is corroborated by the fact that India spends just 4.2% of its GDP on healthcare, of which public health spendings is mere 1.2%, compared to 3% in China and 8.3% in the United States. India continues to grapple with highly prevalent communicable diseases even as it faces an onslaught of non communicative diseases, NCDs, fueled by rapid urbanization. By 2030, NCDs will cost India a whopping 6.2 trillion dollars. Despite these threats, overall spending on healthcare, particularly in public spendings, is very low. India's health system, with huge gaps in delivery infrastructure as well as skilled professionals, are completely unprepared for dealing with these twin challenges. In essence, we are still not a healthy country, and our lack of investment in the health system will come in the way of our continued economic development. It is a healthy nation that turns into a wealthy nation. India is unprepared for the dual burden of communicable and non-communicable diseases. Yet, there is a clear proof of the returns from investing in healthcare, the soft infrastructure of a country. As the nation and the government look at second wave of reforms, healthcare needs to be a key priority. We can bring about a tectonic shift towards better healthcare within a decade if we act quickly. Our aspiration should be for healthy India, where Indian citizens are health aware and engaged, have equitable access to affordable health coverage with a focus on prevention, early diagnosis, and assured minimum quality of care, offered by a vibrant and a sustainable ecosystem of public and private players. The public sector cannot deliver on the agenda alone. Private sector players bring entrepreneurship, innovation, and an ability to deliver financial and medical outcomes that create a sustainable ecosystem. The urgent and immediate agenda is for all stakeholders, public and private, to acknowledge the task at hand and work collaboratively to address them. To summarize, an analysis of 30-year data shows that India's improved performance on HDI is not through improvements in education and health, but mainly through income growth. India's GNI PPP stands at $5,497, a 338% increase since 1980, while its life expectancy at birth is 68 years, an increase of 14 years in the past 35 years. However, improvements have been made most laggardly when it comes to education indicators. Um, the mean years of schooling has increased by only 3.5 years since 1980. The expected years of schooling increased by 5.3 years in the same period. Now, I leave this discussion here and let you ponder over the question. Thank you.